Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing. Today I'm going to create in my napkin journal. This is going to be my second episode of that series. And so this is the signature. But I realized that I can't really do a full spread on every page because they go into each other and they overlap, and yeah, it doesn't work. So I'm going to be only creating on half. Haven't decided if I'm going to do it portrait or landscape, so we'll just have to see. This is the napkin that I'll be using, this beautiful hydrangea. I just love the whole design. I think I'm going to go landscape on it, but I'm not completely positive. I'm going to be using this stencil to create some texture using some Crafters Workshop Light and Fluffy modeling paste. And I'll be using Lindy's Magicals. This is High Maintenance Magenta. Hoping that's not too bright. We'll see. Mission Bells Brown. Whoops. And Cosmopolitan Pink. So again, the Lindy's Magicals are, they're kind of tricky. They don't always end up the way that you expect, but they're super fun. You can't really see the stamp, what it looks like, because it's a rubber stamp. This is from Unity Stamp Company, and it says, "You are loved, darling." So that's what I'm going to be creating around today. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and give my, I don't think I really need to prep this page because it is watercolor paper, but I don't know how much fluid it can actually take. So you know what, I think I am going to gesso it. So bear with me just a second. I've got my gesso here in my big tub. I think it'll be better safe than sorry, so I'm going to go ahead and do some gesso. Just on this half. And once I get the napkin separated and get an idea of where I want it placed, then I'll know better if I want to go landscape on this or portrait. I am going to use some tape to mask off this other page because I don't want to get a bunch of stuff on it. So, but I'll do that when this is all dry. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside for drying because we have other things to do here. I'm going to go ahead and separate my napkin, just reaching for my tape. As you've probably seen in other videos, this is the trick that I use to separate my napkin. So I'm going to do that again here. So it is just a beautiful napkin. It's very small, so I thought it would be perfect for this napkin journal because the pages are little. So I'm going to start with just cutting a square of this, and then we'll go from there. Not exactly sure what I want to have be in the whoops, I put that in some gesso. Hopefully that's not a problem. And I'll just go ahead and cut this on that fold. And then I can separate the layers. Set that over there. So I'm not really sure what I want to have in it. I think I really want all of it but this probably, so I'll probably use some water and get that out of there. Oh, so that layer separated really nicely, but I know that there's another layer here, so go ahead and use the tape technique, just getting it down here in the corner, because then you don't affect your design. And I do it from the back so that it doesn't tear the top layer. And it's just magical. I cannot remember where I saw it, but it was not my idea. Saw it on a YouTube video, and I was like, that is epic. Epic smart. So I think I am going to use some water and just tear this page down a little bit. So I have some water here in my cup. I'll bring it over here. I want the bird. I think the bird is really sweet, and kind of like that French script, but I can't use it all. I don't have enough space. I don't want it to be so busy with an image that I can't get my get the background in that I want. I'm going to go up this way by the And again, you can choose to cut these out too. They don't have to be done this way. And depending on the napkin, the manufacturer can determine how this works, how easily or how hard, because every one of them is just a little bit different. But I have never run into really any problems per se. Got a lot of water there. Take off some of that. Go up here to my top. Hopefully it's still wet. Just going to get it as close to that flower as I can. The hydrangeas, I love to watercolor paint hydrangeas. They're very difficult because they're a multi-headed flower, and so the painting goes on and on and on and on and on, but I really enjoy it. I've never done one that's my own composition yet, which I'd really love to be able to do. So I think that's what I'm going to leave, and I'm going to just butt this up against one edge, and then I'll be able to use the page for the rest of my design. So I think I'm going to go ahead and stamp out my sentiment just because just so it's still drying. So let me just grab a little piece of watercolor paper that I just have here in my little drawer just for such a purpose. And I am going to grab the stamp platform just because if I don't get a good first impression, I can go ahead and stamp it again. And I think it would actually be nice to stamp it in a colored ink. So I'm going to really quickly grab my archival ink in green. This just jumped out of my hand and went into my water bucket. Fortunately, my water bucket is empty of water right now, so I didn't ruin my ink pad. So I'm going to go ahead and get this in my stamp platform and grab my magnets here. I keep them attached here to something else because they get lost a lot, so I want to keep a hold of them. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this here. I think I'm going to also use a die and cut it out, but we'll see. We'll see. Sorry, I'm out of screen there. I'm not sure what's going on here. I don't know if I bumped the camera or what when I sat down. I'll have to readjust that before we get going on the rest of the project. So again, the stamp platform, this is the Tim Holtz stamp platform, and it allows you to, or Tonic Studios, whatever, it allows you to stamp an image, and then if you don't like the impression, it's not dark enough, you can re-stamp it, which is awesome. And as long as you don't move your paper, you're golden. So there's that. I've been putting off filming anymore because my hand is still so bad. Like, it's better, it's not really itchy anymore, but it just is traumatized from those mosquitoes. Not sure why I had such an extreme reaction, but I did. So I'm going to go ahead and set that aside. I'm going to grab my die for this. I think I'm just going to use a cute little, I don't know, maybe a heart or something. So let me grab that. It's just right here. Hopefully this project will go pretty quickly so it won't be too lengthy. I'm going to do a different one than I did the last time. Maybe even a circle would be lovely. How about a circle? I think a circle would be good. Nice and simple. I'll have to grab my machine too here in a second. That's the perfect size, so good eye on that. Let me grab the die cut machine. Okay, so here we go. This is probably going to take up most of the screen here, but I thought, well, I'm doing it, I may as well just leave it in the video and you can see what that looks like. It's a little bit off screen here a little bit, but my plates are super messed up. They're warped, but I haven't had a chance to replace them yet. Or I know that there's things you can do to straighten them. I've seen tutorials on that. I've just never done it. So I'm going to go ahead and get my image nice and my sentiment, excuse me, nice and straight inside that circle. And then I'm going to put some tape down. The die cut machine will cut through that tape, so it's really an awesome little trick just to keep that die in place. And then if you've never seen this before, which I'm sure if you're a YouTube person watching YouTube videos, you've probably seen it, but you just turn this and it pulls and you kind of feed the plates through, and hopefully it'll just go right under my, it does, yay, that's awesome. It's going under my little shelf on my desk. So pretty sweet deal, pretty simple. So let's get this out of the way. Hopefully I won't trip over it and break my leg. That would be a tragedy. So we're going to pop her out, and there we go. And it also creates this nice little ring around it, which I think is really cool. I'm just going to take this die off, and I always take them off right away just so I don't lose them. You can stay attached to something, and then I'm out that size. So that is my little You Are Loved Darling. And this is again from Unity Stamp Company. If you have never checked out their stamps, oh my goodness, you will be addicted. They're amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera here, guys, and dry this so that we can move on. One moment. Okay, friends, this is dry. I went ahead and got a piece of thick washi tape just to put on that page so that I don't get a bunch of stuff over here. I'm probably going to get some splatters of the magicals just because that's the nature of the product, but I just don't want, I want there to be a definition between pages, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my matte medium, and that's my Liquitex matte medium, and then my napkin, which is going to fit absolutely perfectly over here in this corner. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'll be taking this washi tape off when I'm done. I'm just putting it here for now. I'm just going to get a little brush. I don't have a very, very big area to cover here. Get this in screen. Just get some medium down here. This is a fairly fragile napkin in comparison to some others that I've used, so we'll see how this goes. I think I need a little bit more over here. I think the birdie's gonna maybe stick out a little bit. So I'm gonna, it's a little bit tall. It's gonna be just, I might bring this down just a little bit because otherwise it's gonna be right up on that page thing. You know what I mean. So again, matte medium over the top as well, being very gentle. And I'll cut off anything that's hanging off the edge here. Oh, I tore it. See, it's just, they're so different. Some of them are way more durable than others. This one is not one of them, apparently. I could feel that when I took it out of the package. It's definitely more fragile, so I'll just be a little bit more careful here. But I really love that. I think it's going to be really pretty. Sometimes it's nice to paint underneath your napkin or rice paper because you kind of get that glow from underneath, but in this case I think it's going to be really nice that it's just white. So and there's just a close-up of that. Beautiful. And I love this little hint of the brown around the bird. I think that's really nice. So I'm going to pause the video and dry this real quick, and we'll be right back. Okay, my friends, this is dry. So I really was looking at this and really decided I liked this script in here, and we know that the napkin, other parts of the napkin had a French script, so I'm going to go ahead and use my famous script stamp. This is the Penny Black French stamp. I am going to clean it a little bit with a baby wipe just because I typically use black ink on it, and this time I'm going to use this coffee colored ink in the archival inks. So I just want to make sure I don't have a bunch of black ink that's going to come off and discolor that. So I do wipe them down, but this one I use it so much with black that I don't really stress too much about it. So, and let's see how much more is coming up. One more wipe. The wipe will tell us how clean it is. I'm okay with that. So, but I just really like that, so I think I'm going to put a little bit of that in the background here because I just love script. If you didn't already know that, it's my favorite thing. So we're going to go ahead and go in here. I'm just going to get as much ink on this all over as I can, and then we'll tap it around the page here. Actually, we'll probably do almost the whole stamp over here because it's big enough. It's just the right size. Just to kind of go like that. Oh, lovely. It's a little bit crooked, but that's okay. It's not going to probably show really that much under all the other things that are going to be happening. So, at least that's what I tell myself. Just make it look like you did it on purpose. Nobody will know. I just love the script. I think it's just such a beautiful addition to a page, so I like that. Might have been a little overkill, which I tend to do. So now we're going to go in with some texture paste, as I mentioned before, or modeling paste. I'm going to be using the TCW, that's the Crafters Workshop Light and Fluffy Modeling Paste, which I am almost out of. I need to buy a new one because I use it a lot, but it's pretty sweet stuff. So I'm going to use this stencil. I pulled out my whole thing of Tim Holtz because they're smaller, so they work really great for art journaling, but this is the one that kind of spoke to me, so we're going to go with it. And I'm going to use the stencil this way because I want to kind of have the movement going this way on the page, and I may need to dry in between the sections because I want it to go over here and I want it to go over here. So I'm just going to put this up here on that edge and then just get this bit in first. Might be able to get away with not drying it. We're going to try to be super careful. So I'm just going to go down here, see if I can get a little bit more. It's not very much of an area to, oh, it came apart again. Happens all the time. I need to glue it or something. I whine about that on about every video. Maybe if I turn it over, that would be better. No, it's not going to matter. I need to go this way. So I'm not going to press it down on that side, just kind of get in here. I apologize, my hand's in the way, but there we go. And then I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. And I do think I want a little bit more of it up here. So let's see what we can do here. And I think that is going to be good. So I don't have any water in here, so I need to go put this in the sink because I don't have a bucket of water. Just a moment. Okay, so I'm going to show you a close-up of this. I think it's going to be really beautiful because we're going to make all those Lindy sprays move through that texture. So me just wipe my knife off here, and then I'm going to pause the camera and dry, and then we'll be back in a moment. Okay, this is pretty much dry, and texture's beautiful, so we're going to go ahead and give these magicals a try. I'm not sure about high maintenance magenta. It might be high maintenance. We'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle a little bit of this out on my mat. It might be more purple than pink. I'm not sure. Trying to find a brush to grab it. I usually grab it with a fan brush because it just is easier. So I have my fan brush here. Sorry, out of screen again. Here's my magicals. So I'm just going to dip into the powder and put some on my mat. Actually, I think I might go ahead and just put it directly on the page. And this is where we're going to get some probably over here. That's really kind of hard to avoid. So I'm going to just do that. A little bit of water. Let's see what this, ooh, it's really pink, almost fluorescent. Not what I was expecting at all. Not going to like that. We'll fix it though. So I'm just going to go ahead and let that run off because I really don't want that color. Don't like it. So it's staying here where there probably wasn't enough matte medium. So I'm just going to dab this up just so that there's just a hint of it. I do not like that color. It's way too bright for this design, so I'm going to see what else I have. I might need to get a spray out, one of the Lindy's sprays. So let me pause the camera really quick just so I don't waste your time, and I'll be right back. I don't know, guys, this is an experiment, so of epic proportions, because I'm not really finding anything that I like. So, whoops, and that is just splattering all over the place. Not cool. What am I looking for? The water. I'm going to go ahead and spritz this a little bit, see if I can get that to move. So I'm going to try the Peony Scarlet Red. I do know that I like this color, so I'm hoping that it'll be better. But if it's not, then it will be what it will be, and it will be okay. So let me just get some out here. That's really, really dark. Darn. Wonder what it will do mixing. It might mix well with that pink though, so it might be all right. It's just a journal page, so it's no harm, no foul. I'm going to go ahead and spritz that and let it run a bit. And again, I don't want it all over that flower, so we're going to kind of dab it back a little bit. Really just, oh, not what I expected at all for color. I'm going to go in with this Screamin' Banshee Black. It's got a purple undertone to it, so I'm hoping that this will help. We'll see. This is just not at all what I expected. Magicals are very mysterious, I guess, and I don't have them swatched out, so I don't really remember what the colors look like. And so that's why we get kind of this surprise, because I don't have a swatch. It'll be okay though. I promise it'll be okay. It's creating some interesting color. I think that's going to be better. Going to get a ton of stuff on the back of this page though, but it's okay. So that's better. I don't mind that at all. So I'm thinking I want to put a little bit of this out on my, oh, I just about spilled all that. Yikes. Out on my mat here, because there's some places I want to get that color, but not with a brush. So we're just going to use my finger to do that. Thanks for hanging with me. You never know how these things are going to go. It's always an experiment. For some reason, Lindy's just always surprise me. I'm not sure. I love them, don't get me wrong, they're beautiful, but they're definitely their own breed of art product. So I need to get up in here because for some reason I didn't get any color up on that edge. But I don't want it on the flower, so I'm going to dab that up a little bit. So that's going to be all right. So let's get some of this Banshee, Screamin' Banshee Black, which I'm not going to shake because it squirts everywhere. So let's get a little bit of this on here. Oh, that's really pretty. Oh, yum. I like that. It's a purple. Lovely. Maybe that's what I needed to do, is just have it on my mat and not quite so concentrated. I might have a little bit more of that run through my texture here in a little bit. I wanted this to be a quick page, so I'm going to try not to linger too much here. Kind of like that. Doesn't have quite, I think I want some of this Banshee Black to run in here a little bit more. Again, just in spots. I really like that deep color. It's very pretty. But I'm going to let it dry like that. I'm not going to tip it. I'm just going to let it be where it is and let it do what it wants to do. And then we will, I'm going to pause the camera, dry, and then we will see what's next. Putting my sentiment, simple page. I didn't want it to be too complicated. So let me go ahead and pause the camera and dry this, and I'll be right back. Okay, this is dry. I remember now what I love so much about Lindy's Magicals. So look at what's happening up here in this corner. Nothing like you would have expected from those colors. And then there's just this iridescence. And then I'm hoping that you can see that. That's where that Banshee Black settled into those crevices. So I am happy with this. It's not what I was going for, but it ties this hydrangea right into the page, which I think is lovely. And then I've got some color in here, which I think was just perfect. So I am ready to put my sentiment on, which I did go ahead and give it a coat of gel medium when I was off camera a few minutes ago, and I'm going to use a little bit of archival ink in the coffee brown, which is the same color that I stamped the background, and I'm just going to put a little bit of that color on this, maybe just around the edges, I don't know, just using a makeup brush because my other daubers are on the other side of the room. So just going to do this just to give it a little bit of a frame. It's all right. Well, it might not be a bad idea to just go around it. I think I'm just going to do that. I don't know, I might regret that. Just a journal page though. It's no right or wrong. Which I love what it did there. It kind of gave a little bit, maybe I didn't have as much gel medium there, but I'll show that to you here in a second. I think I'm going to get some black too, just because I don't think it's dark enough, but see what it did here on this side, and that's probably just where the gel medium didn't make contact, which is perfectly fine. So I'm going to get the black out though and just give a little bit of a darker edge because I feel like this is just a little bit too pale. I'm going to use the same sponge, no big deal. Just go around, just around the edge here. Yeah, I like that. Perfect. So again, not exactly what I was going for here, but I absolutely love it. It's simple, it was quick, and it's got a great sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and get a little, hopefully the foam squares will hold, I'm not sure. Actually, I better use some gel medium because the foam squares are probably not going to withstand all that texture. So let me get my brush here. I hope that you'll check out the still photos at the end. Hopefully I'll be able to have a good representation of what those Lindy's Magicals did, because they are amazing. They're just really, really, really sweet to work with. I think I'm going to put her right about there. Just a really simple page. Really, really like it. I need a paper towel though, so I can push that down. Just going to do that here. That way I don't get my fingers all sticky. Uh-oh. Didn't hold. It probably needs some heavy gel. We'll see. We'll see what it does. If I have to restick it, I can do that later. So again, there's the close-up of that. Absolutely beautiful. It's got a little bit of a rough edge here, but I don't mind it. I'm going to go ahead and take off the tape, if I can do that without my sentiment falling off. Hopefully this washi tape kept it clean. Oh, it looks like it did. Look at that. Awesome washi tape. That's not always the result you get when you do this. It is pulling up a little bit of that paper on this side. I'm not sure why, but so there we go, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not already liked and subscribed to my channel, I sure hope that you will. I'd love to have you join me here and help me be inspired. Be inspired to create more. I love creating for YouTube, and it brings me a great deal of joy. I love sharing what I'm learning and just different techniques. And so anyway, I hope that you are well, and that's getting school going and all that for your kiddos is going okay. Again, as I've mentioned, I'm back to work, aka school, and it's very different. It's very trying. It's very stressful. In my job, we're going to have to probably wear full PPE, personal protection equipment, because we work with special needs kiddos who are not going to be able to follow social distancing, and touching and sharing spit and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how it goes. I just keep telling myself it's just for a time. So anyway, that's just a little spiel about me. I hope that, anyway, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.